Mr Deputy Speaker.
I call the member for Oodgeroo.
Last sitting week we heard the worst ever news on Redland Hospital under the Palaszczuk government. The hospital experienced the triple hit of the worst ever ambulance ramping of 73%, promised hospital upgrades stalled, and claims of a misleading of a government MP by Queensland health officials. But just when we thought it couldn't get any worse than worse ever for patients and hospital workers, has federal Labor's first budget taken things to a new low? Instead of the federal budget steadying the ship of the stalled Redland Hospital upgrade by clearly confirming the promised federal funding for the hospital, the budget fails to make clear, at this stage at least, if the federal $30 million is actually in the budget. My hope is that it is. If the funding, though, has been cut, then the worst ever could be even worse. I imagine none of the 160,000 Redlanders are okay with the current stalled upgrade, and no one wants Labor's stalled upgrade to become the shelved upgrade. Labor governments have a history of over-promising and under-delivering at Redland Hospital, so it is important that the Albanese government budget provides that certainty for this vital hospital upgrade. And it is not yet clear if funding is in the federal budget for the promised Dunwich Harbour upgrade and road projects like the Wellington Street Panorama Drive upgrade that is federal and council money, as well as the hospital, yet let alone any dollars for things like the Cleveland line duplication. You would think the state government might know if the right hand talks to the left. So while Henry Pike is interrogating the budget in his federal role, I have asked some questions this week of our relevant ministers in the hope of confirming the funding is indeed there, at least for the hospital, however unclear at the first look. Hopefully the Health Minister will provide more meaningful answers than to date on the record bad ambulance ramping, the stalled hospital expansion, the new timeline for construction of stages 1 and 2, and address the extraordinary claims made by a government MP to the media of being misled by Queensland health officials, and why the minister said the Metro South Board weren't at fault, in contradiction to the other extraordinary statement that the Metro South Health Board should be sacked. The Health Minister dismissed the call for sackings and seems to have ignored the claims of misleading by Queensland health officials, but the Health Minister offered no reasonable explanations to the public for these extraordinary events. So now I'm demanding answers of the Health Minister this week about the promised $30 million federal funding that's meant to be for Redland Hospital. Is State Labor going to stump up the shortfall if there has been an Albanese health cut, or has the stalled upgrade become the shelved upgrade? The Minister must answer these questions or resign.
Deputy Speaker.
Order. The House.